Did you know that Soul Train, the famous show that defined an era, was cancelled permanently due to one unforgettable scene? This horrific moment altered the direction of television history, leaving viewers distraught. Stay with us as we recount the controversial performance that resulted in the cancellation of Soul Train, as well as the subsequent behind-the-scenes controversy. Soul Train has provided America with an hour-long celebration of black youth culture every Saturday morning for 35 years. Soul Train's self-proclaimed status as America's hippest journey made it the spot to launch new music as well as the trendiest dancing techniques, haircuts, and outfits. In the 1970s, it became a vital promotional venue for black performers, and by the 1980s, it had provided groups with their first national exposure. It was a pop cultural pipeline that educated the general public how to dance, dress, and who to listen to. Soul Train, beneath the brilliant lights, seductive performers, and cascading paisley, was innovative in its portrayal of black identity. Its roots were in opposition to a racist media and a bigoted culture in general, and it emerged during a period of great upheaval and frustration, as bad economic conditions remained even as the civil rights struggle made progress. Despite its upbeat and seemingly carefree appearance, Soul Train's message of black empowerment was urgent. "It was a way of life for me, my culture and my generation," says Louis Skikar, a fan-favorite Soul Train dancer. "I'm black and Mexican and grew up on the streets of Inglewood, and every Saturday morning that was our chance to see our people and to indulge in our own dances, styles, eras, and crazes." Don Cornelius was the official host of Soul Train and doubled as its executive producer. Cornelius was frustrated at over-reported black crime and underreported police brutality, and hoped to change how black Americans were represented on screen. Cornelius's desire to see not only genuine, but positive representations of African Americans in media led him to brew up ideas for his own TV show based directly on the ABC network show, American Bandstand, a widely popular hour-long segment that showed teenagers dancing to the latest music. Cornelius sourced local teens for talent who lined up outside of the network building every day after school, hoping for the opportunity to dance on screen. Black Chicago was given a show that didn't just alleviate a gross lack of representation, but a show whose purpose was commending the breadth of black talent. It premiered nationally in 1971 with a bold and bright new set befitting of its new location and the staple line, "Welcome aboard. You're right on time for a beautiful trip on the Soul Train." Soon musicians were the ones asking to be on Soul Train instead of the other way around. Big names like Aretha Franklin performed during the height of their careers, and Stevie Wonder even improvised a new song live on the show. The Jackson 5 were regular guests, adding to the show's star power. In the early days, artists lip-synced their hits during the tapings. However, Don Cornelius realized that live performances were necessary to keep the show fresh and exciting. This led to unforgettable moments, such as Barry White performing with a 40-piece orchestra and Al Green delivering a stunning performance despite having a broken arm. James Brown even joined the dancers on the floor in a glittering purple jumpsuit. Later, Cornelius made rare exceptions for non-black artists, welcoming performers with soul, like David Bowie and Elton John, to the stage. For many artists and dancers, Soul Train was deeply personal. Jeffrey Daniel, one of the show's famous dancers, once said, "It started my whole career, but more importantly, was something that reflected young black America." Cornelius made sure the show empowered black talent on and off camera. He built a team of black professionals across all parts of production, ensuring opportunities were available to people of color. Pam Brown, the show's talent booker, would hold auditions in Los Angeles recreation centers, scouting dancers with unique styles. Cornelius was impressed and sometimes shocked by the bold and creative dance moves coming out of California. He quickly put together a team of dancers who stood out for their flair and personality. While being a Soul Train dancer seemed glamorous, the job wasn't easy. Dancers filmed an entire month's worth of episodes in just one weekend, recording 2 shows on Saturday and 2 more on Sunday. They had to bring multiple outfits, plenty of energy, and lots of stamina. Unfortunately, they weren't paid unless they performed alongside an artist, a flaw that felt out of place considering the show's mission to uplift black talent. One of the most iconic parts of the show was the Soul Train line. This segment, introduced in the second season, had dancers form 2 lines, creating a channel down the middle where pairs of dancers showcased their moves. The line became the highlight of the show, giving each dancer their moment to shine. While group dances often led to competition for camera time, the Soul Train line offered individual attention to each performer. Many dancers made the most of this spotlight by using props, doing acrobatic moves, or adding creative flair to grab the audience's attention. The Soul Train line wasn't just a dance routine, it became a cultural phenomenon, remembered as one of the show's most beloved and iconic features. It perfectly captured the energy, creativity, and individuality that defined the golden era of Soul Train. One of Soul Train's most lasting legacies is its influence on dance. The show didn't just showcase the latest trends, it invented them. Dance styles like popping, locking, ticking, and whacking, which later became the foundation for hip-hop, voguing, and breakdancing, were born on the Soul Train stage. Michael Jackson himself learned the famous robot from the show and perfected the backslide, which he renamed the moonwalk from dancer Jeffrey Daniel. These moves would later define entire eras of pop culture, and it all started on Soul Train. Jeffrey Daniel, a Soul Train dancer, recalled how the show inspired him. "All of a sudden on TV, I saw young black kids around my age doing what I love to do best, dancing and looking good while doing it. Up until then, when we were seen on TV, we were either being chased by the police, selling drugs, or in some silly comedy. From that moment on, it was my lifetime ambition to be on that program." The fashion on Soul Train was as iconic as the dance moves. Dancers and performers wore bright colors, bold patterns, and cutting-edge trends that became instantly recognizable. From dashikis and bell-bottoms to platform shoes and medallions, Soul Train brought black style into living rooms across America. Jeffrey Daniel described the show's fashion as colorful and expressive, saying it perfectly captured the era. Before Soul Train, black performers were often stereotyped or sidelined in mainstream media. The show flipped that narrative, showcasing young black talent and presenting a vibrant, positive image of Black America. Don Cornelius, the show's creator and host, assembled a team of black talent both on and off camera, ensuring opportunities for people of color in every aspect of production. For dancers like Cheryl Song, who was the only Asian dancer on the show, Soul Train also broke racial barriers. Despite initial skepticism from her peers, Cheryl became an integral part of the show for 14 years. Her story highlighted Soul Train's ability to celebrate diversity while staying true to its core mission of showcasing black excellence. Although Soul Train wasn't explicitly political, it reflected the struggles and triumphs of its time. The 1970s were a turbulent period in America with battles over school segregation and rising inner-city poverty. Against this backdrop, Soul Train offered messages of positivity and pride. Segments like the Soul Train Scramble Board encouraged viewers to learn about black icons such as Phyllis Wheatley and Harriet Tubman. The show also promoted natural black beauty through its partnership with Afro Sheen, a black-owned hair product company. By airing Afro Sheen commercials and promoting natural hairstyles, Soul Train reinforced the message that black is beautiful. Let us take you to the most exciting part that everyone will love, the unforgettable performances of Soul Train. The best place to start is, of course, at the beginning. The show's first nationally broadcast episode aired on October 2, 1971, featuring none other than Gladys Knight and the Pips. Their performance remains iconic, not only for the music, but for the energy Don Cornelius brought to their introduction. With his signature baritone voice and excitement, he introduced the group as four beautiful people who represent a mighty mountain of soul. That moment set the stage for the incredible legacy Soul Train would build in the years to come. One of the most memorable performances in Soul Train history came in 1973 when a young Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 took the stage to perform their hit song, Dancing Machine. The track, a massive success that topped R&B charts and hit number 2 on the pop charts, became even more iconic thanks to their Soul Train appearance. It was during this performance that Michael introduced the world to the now famous robot dance. Seeing the king of pop execute the robot flawlessly was a revelation, and it cemented the dance as a staple of pop culture. While many have attempted the move over the years, this performance shows how it was meant to be done. Precise, captivating, and utterly cool. In December 1975, the legendary group La Belle brought an entirely new energy to Soul Train with their performance of Lady Marmalade. This was not just a song, it was a statement. Patti LaBelle, Nona Hendrix and Sarah Dash stunned the audience with their metallic futuristic costumes, essentially inventing Afrofuturism on the Soul Train stage. Their bold style, combined with the funky grooves of their global hit, left an indelible mark on the show and on music history. It was a moment where art, fashion, and music collided in a way only Soul Train could deliver. Al Green's 1974 performance was another unforgettable highlight. Unlike most artists on the show who typically lip-synced their songs, 27-year-old Al Green sang live, electrifying the stage with his raw talent and charisma. Dressed in neon platform loafers with one arm in a sling and the other holding a long-stemmed rose, Green gave an emotional and soulful performance that radiated both spiritual energy and undeniable charm. The audience was captivated, as he delivered 7 minutes of what can only be described as sanctified sex appeal. It was the kind of performance that defined why Soul Train was more than just a music show, it was an experience. Soul Train also broke barriers by inviting white artists to perform, a rare move for the time. One such moment came on November 4, 1975, when David Bowie graced the stage. However, Bowie's nerves got the best of him. Reportedly drinking too much beforehand, he struggled through his performances, which had to be re-recorded several times because he hadn't memorized the lyrics. Despite the rocky start, Bowie's appearance symbolized the show's growing influence and willingness to push cultural boundaries. Legend has it that Don Cornelius had a candid conversation with Bowie offstage, reminding him that Soul Train was no place for mediocrity. Like every good thing, Soul Train also came to an end. Its final goodbye left many fans sad. And some still wonder why it had to stop. As Soul Train entered the 1980s and beyond, the music industry started to change. Hip-hop was emerging as a dominant force, and with it came performances that were sometimes seen as too edgy for the show's traditional audience. One such moment was the infamous Milli Vanilli performance in 1989. Don Cornelius introduced them as the first major rap stars from Europe, but just months later, it was revealed that the duo hadn't sung any of their own songs. They were lip-syncing frauds. This scandal damaged Soul Train's credibility. Another controversial performance came from David Bowie in 1975. The eccentric London singer known for pushing boundaries showed up nervous and intoxicated, forgetting his lyrics and needing multiple takes to get through his set. Don Cornelius, always a perfectionist, was reportedly frustrated with Bowie behind the scenes. These moments began to chip away at the polished image Soul Train had built over the years. Behind the camera, the show faced challenges as well. There were growing tensions between dancers and producers, as some felt their contributions were underappreciated. Dancers were the lifeblood of Soul Train, creating iconic moves and setting trends, but many were not fairly compensated for their work. This led to friction, and in some cases, the departures of beloved cast members. Additionally, the music industry evolved. Soul Train struggled to secure top-tier artists. Competing networks like BT and MTV were gaining popularity, and many musicians opted to appear on these newer platforms, which catered to the rising hip-hop audience. One of Soul Train's biggest challenges was its inability to keep up with the times. By the mid-1980s, music, fashion, and culture had shifted dramatically. While Soul Train had been at the forefront of trends in the 1970s, it began to feel outdated. Younger audiences were drawn to edgier shows that embraced hip-hop and urban culture in a more modern way. Don Cornelius, who had always been the visionary behind Soul Train, struggled to connect with this new wave of music. He famously didn't understand hip-hop and often resisted incorporating it into the show. This disconnect made Soul Train feel out of touch with the very audience it once represented. With all these issues piling up, viewership began to decline. Fans who had grown up watching Soul Train felt a sense of nostalgia, but were no longer tuning in regularly. Younger audiences, meanwhile, were flocking to shows that felt more relevant to their lives. The magic that once made Soul Train a Saturday morning ritual was fading. In 1993, Don Cornelius made the difficult decision to step down as host. His final sign-off, "Love, Peace and Soul," marked the end of an era. Cornelius had been more than a host. He was the heart and soul of the show. His departure left a void that no one could truly fill. While other hosts tried to carry the torch, Soul Train was never quite the same without him. Cornelius's exit also highlighted a deeper issue. Soul Train was his vision, and without his leadership, the show struggled to find direction. Behind the scenes, the team faced mounting challenges and the energy that once fueled the program began to dwindle. By the mid-2000s, it was clear that Soul Train could no longer keep up with the competition. In 2006, the show aired its final episode, quietly ending a 35-year run. Fans were left heartbroken and many wondered how something so iconic could fade away. From its debut in 1970 to its final episode in 2006, Soul Train brought joy and inspiration to millions of fans. Even today, its legacy remains unmatched. Many believe that no other show has ever come close to the magic and cultural impact of Soul Train, and there likely never will be. Fans still speak about Soul Train with deep love and nostalgia. It wasn't just a show, it was a way of life, one fan shared online. Another commented, "Soul Train made me feel proud of my culture. It was a place where we could shine, where our music and our talent were celebrated like nowhere else." These heartfelt words capture just how much the show meant to people. What made Soul Train so special was its ability to bring people together. It wasn't just about watching famous artists like Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, and Stevie Wonder perform. It was about the energy of the show, the joy it brought to every viewer. The show made everyone feel like they were part of something bigger, something historic. The Soul Train line became a symbol of that unity, a place where people could dance their hearts out and show off their own moves, no matter who they were or where they came from. Even after its end, no show has managed to replicate what Soul Train achieved. It wasn't just about performances or dancing. It was about unity, pride, and joy. It gave black artists and dancers a space to be seen and appreciated in a time when such opportunities were rare. As one fan wrote, "There will never be another Soul Train. It was a once-in-a-lifetime show." The loss of Soul Train left a gap in the world of music and television. While newer shows have tried to capture the magic, they've fallen short. The charisma of Don Cornelius, the groundbreaking performances, and the soulful energy of the show are simply irreplaceable. Soul Train helped define an era, and its impact can still be seen in everything from today's music videos to the modern dance trends we see on TikTok. The show's legacy lives on through the stars it created, the trends it started, and the way it changed how the world saw black culture. Today, Soul Train still holds a special place in the hearts of those who experienced it firsthand. The memories of the show, the performances, and the energy of that era will never fade. As one fan put it, Soul Train was a gift to the world and its legacy will live on forever. The world will never see another show quite like it, and that's something fans will carry with them for the rest of their lives.